for national conversation at this time? Because I know for such a suggestion to come from the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, it's probably something they've discussed with the head of state or other leaders, that probably we need to have a national conversation at this time. But looking at the politics, Bwana Mutambu, it's high-octane politics already in readiness for 2027. Is it possible to have a conversation of that magnitude and for it to actually be consequential for this country?
Before you move to my good friend, let's all agree that who is the holder of the symbol of national unity? This is encountered at the head of state. So the head of state is the one to introduce such a conversation. He's the holder of the symbol of unity.
His closest ally is suggesting the same, so probably that's a conversation that will come in a few weeks' time, that we need to have a national conversation at some point.
You know, that's why I said let's not politicize everything. I've said let's take responsibility. These are our own children. This is our country. So different approaches, and now I say there are different ways that we can approach.
Okay.
Either from the ward level. Let us also involve our religious institutions. If the Muslims, I know they normally have their way of talking to their young people. Let us, and I think what we need to do is give them a position or a point they can be able to ventilate.
So back to the church.
And number two, not just the church. I've said we can have the Muslims, you can have, but we need to go to mashinani, to the grassroots.
Okay.
Away,
well,
you know, I just wanted to tell my colleague, away from leaving everything to us as politicians. Because he's not a current member of parliament, he's not in parliament now. But there's so much that he knows. There's so much that he can be able to engage his people or the young people from his constituency.
Okay.
But would the current member of parliament see him as a threat when he comes to engage there?
Okay.
So let's have different ways. And let us not just say, we are leaving it to the president to make a decision.
But
you are elected, even us, we can make a decision.
Landscape?
I would want Gakuya to call me one day, we sit with his youth. I also invite him, he's from Muranga. Okay. We come and we also talk to our people without looking at the political side or who we support.
Can we afford to ignore the politics of the day when we have a national conversation of this nature?
The problem is that we focus and we waste a lot of energy treating the symptoms, but not the real cause of the problem or of the disease. That is the problem we have in this country. When we say we want to have a national discussion and we ignore the problem creators who are creating these problems and who are the most affected. When you look at Nation Today, front page, 485 arrested, and you go on reading and you do the audit of who was arrested, it is the youth. But the main suspect, the main culprit, the people who organized, who called the youth out, come, go to the street, go fight those who are trying to demonstrate, go do this, they have not been touched. Who has committed a bigger crime here? The person who sat down and planned to bring another team to oppose those who are exercising their constitutional rights, or those youth who are either beaten and arrested by the police. Those people are still scot-free, they are still in the office, and the people who are mobilized to go and do this work, I can tell you, out of these 485, maybe 50% or 40% or 60% is those who were brought in. So you bring a youth, you give them 300, 500 shillings, tell them go and fight this team which is coming. Those people are arrested in that mayhem. They are rotting in a police cell, and you are in your office swinging your chair. And you want to tell me there will be a national conversation to heal that? It cannot heal unless we go for those who have higher responsibility of what is happening. It cannot happen when we have a CS who is ordering police officers shoot to kill, and he is still enjoying our taxes in the office. It cannot happen, because we will sit there, we will come out, the same will repeat. These people who will go to jail or who are in police cell, they will be radicalized there. So when they come out, they will come out to revenge. And whenever they hear any opportunity to go to the street, they will be the first ones. whether they were in prison or they were not in prison. They will be, because they know them, they suffered, but you never suffered. If they hear there is any demonstration against one of those people who mobilized them the other time, they will be in the street. So what we are doing, we are creating more problems than solving the problems we are having. It is these leaders who need to come out and say, you know what, I want to repent. I mobilized the 500 youth and I want to apologize. Please, tomorrow I will not mobilize you again. Because it is in the public domain who did what, when, where.
Are you saying that even the calls for a national